notebooks out. So those of you guys that do not know me, I've been in telecom going on 8 years now, all right? I've been in the telecommunications industry. If you don't know what telecom is, that's like call centers. What is call centers? When you order that Wingstop, or when you order that Domino's, or when you order that Chick-fil-A, or they mess up your order, you call that 800 number, that's a call center, okay? A lot of us probably worked at a call center. I worked at a call center myself. I was working at Carnival Cruise Lines, and I worked at Home Depot remotely, working from home. I was making $14.50 an hour at Carnival Cruise Lines, and I was making $12.50 an hour at Home Depot. I was on this platform called Arise, okay? Everybody probably know about Arise. Arise used to be popping back in the days. I would say Arise had a good run between 2016 through 2022, okay? And a lot of people say that Arise was popping even back in the days, but I was young. I'm only 26 years old, so I don't know about way back then. All I know is when I turned 17, going on 18, I was on the Arise platform up until, I want to say 23 years old, and that's when I got off the Arise platform. But I was working for a woman, a Caucasian woman, paying her $50 out of my paycheck bi-weekly. I mean, it was nothing wrong with that because I was an independent contractor. No other taxes or anything came out of my paycheck, so I was fine with the little $49.99 coming out every 2 weeks, all right? I love Carnival Cruise Lines. I love Home Depot. I was simply just booking people cruises, upgrading their cabins, tracking people orders on Home Depot, placing orders on Home Depot, just basic, little stuff like that, okay? So I was a call center worker. Okay, now I'm an owner, but anywho, I was a call center worker. The woman really loved my energy. If you guys can't tell, I got really great energy. She really loved my passion for just picking up hours. I was really just a hard worker. And she was like, Johnsy, how would you like to own your own call center? Like, you can be doing what I'm doing. And this is an older woman, I would say. Well, I would say more seasoned because these women in their 50s, they looking better than women in their 20s now, okay? So she was more seasoned than me, but she was I want to say she was like 56, 57 years old. And I was like, I'm not really thinking nothing up. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. Like, what is it that you do? She's like, all you need to do is get your EIN, and put your EIN onto the platform. They'll give you a company ID number and you can have people work under your call center. So I'm like, okay, that sounds pretty simple. She don't have social media. She wasn't on any like social media, like recruiting people. She was just a top premier IBO at the time. So a top premier IBO, independent business owner, that means that once you reach top premier IBO status, they put people automatically under you. So I'm like, I have a pretty good reach on social media. Like at the time I was on Facebook really heavily. So I made a post on Facebook. I was like, who would like to work from home, make your own schedule, set your own hours, blah, 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 blah. I had over 500 comments on Facebook, people saying me, interested, dropping their emails, all kind of stuff, okay? I was like, of course, all 500 people ain't gonna sign up, but this is a really good start if this is something that I wanna do. So I'm excited. I'm telling her I'm ready. I go get the EIN, da-da-da. That's how I started my call center on a middleman platform. I'm no longer on a middleman platform. I'm no longer on the Arise platform, but that's how I got started, okay? Like I said, Arise had a really good run. If you was on Arise during 2016 going into 2022, oh my God, so many people made so much money because y'all know that was also the pandemic during that time, the COVID during that time. What was that, 2019? I think the pandemic had first started or whatnot. So everybody was losing jobs. Everybody was getting laid off. Hours were being cut short. People were scared to go into the workplace. People didn't even want to go back to the office, okay? That's what kept Arise popping even after the pandemic because people didn't even want to go back to work. They got comfortable and spoiled by working remotely. So they're like, okay, we can work remotely. We like what's going on here. We want to continue to do this. So my call center scaled during the pandemic. I went from 121 people working under me before the pandemic to 300, 500, 700, 900 to over 1,500 agents on this middleman platform. And I was doing the same thing that Caucasian woman was doing, $49.99 out of each agent's paycheck bi-weekly, okay? Arise, rest in peace. You'll forever be in my heart. You made me the woman I am today. Again, that was the stepping stone, all right? A little sidebar, a woman prophesied to me at my church at the time, and she said, Johnson, you're going to be a woman of many jobs and many resources. Many people are going to come to you for work. This is before I started my call center. I didn't know what that was. I didn't know what this one was talking about, but I took mental note. And when I started my call center, that's when I realized this is what that woman was talking about. But check this out. Arise got a new CEO, okay? Arise switched CEOs, and this is when everything went downhill, okay? Arise switched CEOs, and this new CEO came on the block promising us that we'll be able to scale overseas. We'll be in Jamaica. We'll be in Africa. We'll be in the Philippines. He was like just promising all kind of stuff. He had already warned us that we were going to, because I was a top premier IBO at the time. So when you're a top premier IBO, you got to meet the CEO and all of that. So he's telling us that he's gonna, get rid of a few contracts, but don't worry, more jobs are gonna come on the platform. It's gonna look a little sketchy for a little bit, but don't worry, he's just cleaning everything up. Of course, I didn't ask what happened to the old CEO. Why do we got this new CEO? I'm just like, okay, maybe the man sold his company, because people do that. Like, that's where I'm at in my career. Like, I'm scaling my call center to be able to sell it. That's what I want to do. I don't want to keep working my call center, managing my call center for the rest of my life. The goal is to sell the call center. This is what I'm trying to get people. This is the money right here, okay? But anywho, I was patient for a little bit. The jobs were leaving, hours were being cut short. I started having agents saying, hey, John-C, they working about 20, 30 hours a week. So now they can't even get 10 hours a week. Like, it's scary out here. So now I'm like kind of worried, because I'm like, okay, the platform that I done not only brought so many people to, but I'm also showing people how to start their call center on the Rise platform. Like, I used to show people the Rise platform for free. Up until so many people started asking me, people like, John-C, you should be charging for this. I'm like, okay. So I started charging for it or whatnot. But anywho, I brought so many people onto the Rise platform, I started getting concerned, because I'm like, okay, now this is starting to affect my business, my reputation, my brand, because I can't be promoting something where ain't no jobs, ain't no hours. It's just not going to make sense. So anywho, I ended up riding out for a little bit with the Rise platform. And then it was like, okay, John-C, you got to figure something out. Like, you're going to have to figure out how to get these contracts outside of a Rise. It sounds so crazy. That's why I'm talking through it, but I'm like, that is so crazy the way I just even did all of this. But anywho, I was like, John-C, you're going to have to figure out how to get contracts outside of a Rise. Because for one, if you know about a Rise didn't even allow you to work in certain states. Like, California was one that was forbidden. Connecticut was another one. Delaware was another one. Maryland was another one. Vegas was another one. It was just different states that you couldn't even hire in, and we couldn't even hire overseas. So Arise started feeling restricted, especially when the jobs started leaving the platform and hours started getting cut. That's when Arise started feeling restricted. And I'm like, okay, I remember that prophetic word that woman gave me. You're going to be a woman of many jobs, many resources. Many people are going to come to you for work. So, okay, God, what's going on? I'm going to have to pivot, because I know if you called me to this industry, it gotta be something bigger. So y'all, this is crazy. Like, this is so crazy. So I ended up like on live. I used to go live all the time on TikTok. I had people, reaching out to me, wanting to build me softwares, and it just sounded too far-fetched. Like, okay, what are y'all talking about? Like a software? Like it just was too much. And that's one thing that I loved about Arise, because they had their own infrastructure. They had their own everything. All I had to do is bring people onto the platform, take out my fee bi-weekly, pay my agents, and that's it. Like, the company trained them, the company managed them. Like, I didn't have to do nothing. That's one thing I love about Arise. So getting off the Arise platform sounded insane to me. I'm like, there's no way. Like, how am I going to build a software, an infrastructure, a platform? How I didn't understand how, okay? But I had a company reach out to me, and they were like, hey, we are a BPO service-based company where we provide software, I ended up going on Zoom with them, having a few meetings with them, and they were just saying all the right things. And I'm like, okay, so you guys will build out the software. You guys will, I started explaining everything that Arise do. I'm like, so this is what, you guys are able to do. But this is what they told me. But we can't get the contracts. Then what the freak? That's what I need, the freaking contracts. How do we get the contracts for the call center? Like, I can figure some stuff out on how to, that ain't nothing. But how do we get the contracts, okay? Because Arise had different companies like Disney, Dick's Sporting Goods, Neiman Marcus, Peloton, Airbnb, Home Depot, Carnival Cruise Lines. What else? Saks Off Fifth. Like, they just had many different Fortune 500 companies. So I'm like, okay, if Arise can get contracts with these companies, it can't be that hard. So I ended up, one day I was on the phone and my phone service went off out of nowhere. My internet went off, my phone stuff went off, everything had shut off. I'm like, hold on. Then I go on Instagram, I'm realizing that they done had a power outage, okay? The service is out or whatnot, I called a company and I'm like just really being funny, but like really talking my, and I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna say the company name because I signed an NDA. I can't say the company name, but it's a very popular internet provider. So I'm like, hey, I'm like, hey, so this is really affecting my business. Like, y'all got the power out, y'all got the internet out, my phone, my Wi-Fi not working. I got business to attend to, like So they're like, oh, we're gonna give you guys like a gift card or like something, like money towards your next month's bill or whatnot, and I'm like, okay, that's cool and all, but I would really just prefer, because it seems like you guys are, because it was like memes and everything on like Shade Room, and like it was memes everywhere about like how this internet provider like really just shut down everything. So I was like, honestly, I would prefer to just do business with y'all. So they started laughing, like they literally laughing over the phone, but like this is me shooting my shot. This is so crazy to me. So I'm like, I would really just prefer to do business with y'all, and I started talking about my call center. I'm like, I'm sure you guys are overwhelmed with calls right now. And then I just go in about what my call center can provide. We have customer service agents, billing support agents, technical support agents. I have a whole team stationed in Belize, Philippines, Dominican. Like I just go all in, right? So I'm going all in. So they tell me to send them an email, okay? I send them an email. I'm not thinking, I'm like, that was just all shits and giggles, as they would say. Like, that's funny and all. But I'm not thinking they're going to email me back. They email me back, okay? So now we going back and forth. Now I'm sending over, like, documents. Like, I'm just showing them, like, what I've done in the past. And yes, you guys, leverage what you have done. At the end of the day, when I signed every SOW for these agents, okay, on the Rise platform for Dick's Sporting Goods, Neiman Marcus, Peloton, Disney, Carnival Cruise Lines, I had to sign SOW, statement of work, contracts for every single agent of mine that I've hired over 1,500 agents on this Rise platform. I'll be damned if I don't leverage this, okay? So when they're asking me about my resume, my referrals, what am I putting? Your girl don't work with bloop, 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 bloop. Okay? So, and this should really, like, if you on the Rise platform, then you should really be inspired by this, because Arise, that's why I can't talk down on Arise. If Arise was the way it used to be, man, I would be probably freaking touching multi-millions by now on the Rise. Like, it would just, and then that's the thing, I should have known it was gonna have a cap at one point, because it's like I could only grow as much as that platform was growing, and God wanted me to do more. So anywho, ended up going back in negotiations with this company, this popular internet provider company, ended up securing that contract, okay? That's when I realized that wasn't even me like really sending out any like proposals or really trying to like what I do now to get other contracts and stuff. Like, this was just me being funny. Like, this is just, what I'm saying? Like, this was just me simply being funny. So that's that, okay? So now I'm like, okay, first contract secured. That's when I realized I need to get more contracts. I need about 3, 4, 5 contracts under my belt, because the goal at that time is that I wanted to build and Arise. Like, I wanted, people to come to my platform, be able to like, but then I was like, I don't really want to do that right now. Let me see how this goes. Like, let me be the test dummy. Let me see how this goes for my own call center before I start like, leveraging this to other people. I got a little bit happy, but it is what it is. Anywho, I was like, okay, what are some other ways that I can get contracts? Because that was just, I felt like that was nothing but God, okay? But I need to figure out a way to get contracts that may not be Fortune 500, but just contracts in general. So what do I start doing? I go on my city's website. I go on my sam.gov government website, and I start looking for contracts specifically for call centers, okay? So a lot of people ask me about government contracting. They're like, okay, government contracting, what is that about? I personally don't like government contracts for telecom. I don't. If you've ever been on sam.gov and you're looking for contracts for your call center, you don't come across many, and that's for a reason. Now, what you will find is like through the state or through the city, you'll find different contracts. But for the government, like federal contracts, like on sam.gov, you're just not going to find. And if you do, they're looking for like hardwire installation type telecommunication services. Like they want you to actually build a call center, get the hardwire, get the, like they want that kind of stuff or whatnot. But what people don't know, at the end of the day, even though city and state contracts that we get, they're funded by the government. So it's still technically government contracting. But when people be like, oh, you use sam.gov, no, I don't. I don't use sam.gov, okay? I don't use sam.gov. But anywho, let me give you guys the tea. Again, this is when you pull out your notebooks. This is when you take notes, okay? I tell people I always give value. I only charge for access to me, okay? I will give you guys everything you need. Go do it on your own, okay? But you want to work with me, I'm going to charge for that, okay? I'm going to charge for access to that. But take your notebooks out, because maybe you're just a boss like me and you know how to get to it on your own. You don't need I'm not going to say you don't need no mentor. You should get a mentor in this industry, okay? But if you're not in a position to, definitely take notes right now and implement what I'm telling you. Don't just look at me talk. Actually implement what I'm about to give to you, okay? So, hold on. Let me drink my protein real quick. Hold on. Okay? Gotta get the protein. Gotta hit my protein goals for today. Okay, cool. All right, you got your notebooks. Okay, whatever. All right, so first thing you want to have is your LLC. I hate saying that because it's just like, be so for real. Like, everybody should have an LLC. I don't care if you work a 9 to 5. Go get you an LLC. I don't care if your name, let's just say your name is Billy, okay? Billy Badass LLC. Go get an LLC. Go get something, okay? For an LLC, you may not know when you're going to use it. This is one thing that my mentor told me. She told me she used to trademark everything, okay? She used to get an LLC for any idea that came to mind because she knew it was going to happen at some point, but, just not, I guess at the time that she had the ideal or whatnot. And that really makes sense because if you really have an idea that comes to your mind, typically we'd be like, okay, it comes to our mind, but especially if it's a good thing, if it's a God thing, okay? Because the enemy gonna try to make you lose that. The enemy gonna try to make you lose that thought. And then it's 2 years later, you're gonna be like, dang, I remember when I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. But see, if you had that LLC, you got to keep up with that LLC. You got to do that paperwork. It's going to be on the forefront of your mind. And then on a whole nother line, we'll talk about business funding and business capital and getting lines of credit and stuff with your LLC, okay? Like, we'll talk about that on a whole nother line. But like, there's so many things you could do with your LLC. But if you're doing business with the government, okay, with the city, with the state, you got to be an official company. So you need to have your LLC. That's just that, all right? You got to have your LLC. This is not like a RISE where all you need is your EIN. You need to have your LLC, okay? For me specifically, I recommend that you guys have a business email and a business phone number, okay? And the reason being is because when you are reaching out to these companies or even when you're submitting your proposals, you don't want it to be, I love lilboosie@gmail.com. Like, you want it to be something corporate. So for example, my business email is support@hobsonsconnect.com. Okay. My company is called Hobson Connect. My last name is Hobson. It used to be J Virtual Talk at the time, but I wanted something that's, again, I'm building my call center to where I can eventually sell it in the next couple of years or so. That's what I'm doing with my call center business. I want it to be tied to my last name, okay? So keep that in mind as well with your LLC. You want it to be you know, something tied into telecom, something tied into consulting or call center. It's just something that can be overall branded in that industry, okay? You don't want it to be like I Repair Credit LLC and you're literally bidding for call center contracts. It just doesn't make sense, okay? So you want to have that. Get your business email, get your business phone number. You can do all that on Google Voice, Ring Central, GoDaddy, MailChimp. What else? Where did I get my I use G Suite for my business email, but those are just the little basics that you need to have. Oh, and a landing page. Okay, you need to have a landing page for when these companies just want to go on your website and see what it is that your call center entails. You can actually, you know, they can go and they can see that. So hobsonconnectcorp.com. That's my call center website. If you guys want to go take a look and get an idea of what it is that I'm talking about, you want to have, I tell people who, what, when, where, and why. Okay, so who is your company? What is it that you guys do? Where are you guys based at? What is it that you guys, what services do you guys provide? And why did you start the company? Like a just short bio about yourself, okay? That's what you want to have on your landing page. You don't need a whole file bookmark website, okay? You don't need none of that. Just a simple, clean landing page. Your branding colors need to be, you know, coordinating with your branding. So you want to have, for me, I like black and white with like teal blue, like that Tiffany blue look. Blue is for trust. You got black for professionalism, white for cleanliness and simplicity. You got purple for royalty, green for finance or environment. You got yellow for energy, orange for energetic as well. Red for boldness, okay? So you want to use one of those branding colors. You don't want to use the whole rainbow either, okay? This is not that. You want to be able to, like, just me personally, when it comes to corporate and trying to win Fortune 500 contracts, or even just dealing with the city, state, or government in general, I would prefer that you guys use black and white, okay? Either black and white or something with red, or something with blue, because blue is for trust, okay? I'd be so scared for these people on these little, I don't know what you call them, but they're doing the outside of our windows right now. They just be, I could never be that high up in the air, okay? But anywho, that's what you want to have. That's just the basics. You need your business phone number, business email, business website, LLC. Those are the basic foundational things that you need, okay? So now that you got your landing page, now you want to start getting clients. You want to start getting contracts. Where do you go to go get these contracts, okay? You want to go to either Bid Prime, okay? www.bidprime.com. That's my number one. That's the number one platform that I go. Yes, you got to pay. Any of these websites that I'm talking about, you got to pay except for Bid Prime. Now, here's the tea about Bid Prime. Bid Prime gives you a free trial. They say for 30 days, okay? But I have students that say literally it took Bid Prime to be like 4 or 5 months later to start charging their card. And then I think even if they charge your card, I think it's like, I want to say $50 a month, but you get like 4 months free for sure. Because I got students that tell me that they use it and that's like they don't even have to pay for it or whatnot. So you want to use Bid Prime, okay? Bid Prime is my number one. Bid Banana, okay? Bid Banana is number two. And when I say Bid, B-I-D, okay? Bidbanana.com. That's my second platform that I would recommend. Bid Banana is a very simplistic platform, very user-friendly, very straight to the point. And Bid Prime is no different. The thing that I love about Bid Prime is that they send you contracts catered to your niche. Like if you put call center, if you put telecommunications, or if you put answering services or chat support, like these are keywords that I use when looking for contracts. They'll email you contracts to your email, and then they'll put it inside of an inbox for you as well. So like on Bid Prime, you have an actual inbox that you can go and just look at like different contracts that they found already for you, okay? So Bid Prime. So Bid Prime, Bid Banana, those are my top two. The last one that I will give you guys is Periscope Holdings, okay? Periscope Holdings is the most detailed platform when it comes to contracts. So for example, Bid Prime and Bid Banana, they'll give you the link to the contract, but sometimes you still, like they'll take you to the city site or the state site or the government site, but you still have to search like call center. You'll still have to like, you know, it's really no work for me. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, I know that the contract is on this website. I just gotta find it. But Periscope Holdings, they actually they have everything for you. Like they have it takes you directly to the source. Okay. But Periscope Holdings charge I want to say 400 or 500 bucks a month. Yeah, a month. That's insane to me. So but Periscope Holdings, is very detailed, very straight to the point. Okay. And those are the top 3 platforms: Bid Banana, Bid Prime, and Periscope Holdings. Every single platform all have the same contracts. Okay. If you were okay, they all have the same contracts. So that's neither here nor there. It's just about, I want to say, accessibility that the companies give you, the platforms give to you. But I typically do not care. As long as I can go on a platform and see the contracts, that's all I care about. So Bid Prime, like I said, they have the free trial. Bid Banana has a 7-day free trial, but Bid Prime has a 4-month free trial. And then Periscope Holdings, I don't know if they have a free trial, but I do know that they're $400 to $500 a month. And that's ridiculous. I don't think nobody should pay that for the same contracts that you can get on the other 2 platforms that I already mentioned, So anywho, once you go on these platforms, you want to type in keywords. Call center is just a no-brainer. Answering services, chat support, after hour support, colleges, what else? Billing, cloud-based, AI. These are just keywords that you want to type when looking for contracts, okay? And it's going to populate all the contracts that you're looking for. So boom, here you go. You see a contract, all right? Red flags in a contract. You want to run away from anything that says hard installation, hard wire, labor, or equipment, okay? These are typically what every red flag contract will have. So yes, you'll find a call center contract, but it'll say, yeah, but we're looking for those that can actually hardwire underneath the ground and, like I said, install actual telecommunications. When you're riding by and you see the, the tower, the tower where we get our cellular data and stuff from. They be wanting you to do stuff like that. That's what SAM.gov be wanting y'all to do. And that's why I don't deal with SAM.gov. SAM.gov is great for different industries, but when it comes to telecom, no. Okay? So what I want you guys to do as well, bid.net, I've heard of them. I think they're partnered with Bid Prime. Are you talking about Bid Direct Net? I think it's the same, but yeah, any of those platforms, if it say bid, it's a go, okay? It's just seeing which one works for you. Seeing which one is user friendly for you. If you don't want to go to any Bid Directs or Periscope Holdings or Bid, but any of the ones that I mentioned, go to your city or state government website and look for procurements, okay? On the website, you want to look for procurements. And procurements meaning contracts, okay? And on that city or state website, they're going to have a whole list of procurements, contracts, catered to different industries. You may see some for call centers, you may see some for janitorial, you may see some for cybersecurity, you may see some it's just what the city and state is looking for, and they already have funding by the government to pay for it. So why not? The money is already there. It's just about going out to go get the contract, okay? But let me go back. You find a contract that you like, the red flags, you don't want to see anything that says hardwire installation, what else did I just say? Labor, equipment. We're not looking for that. We're looking for cloud-based virtual call centers. Another thing, when you're looking at these contracts, okay, you want to pull up the document that has the scope of work, okay? So typically these contracts have not contracts, let me just say, these companies or cities, states, whatever, that are looking for call center services, they have attachments, okay? And they have several documents. They have some may have 4 documents, some may have 3, some may have 10, some may have 15 documents, okay? And you want to go through every single document and see what it's asking for. But the main document that you want to read through, so this is 2 things. You want to read through it yourself, and then you want to put it on Chat GPT. Okay? Don't just copy and paste that contract and put it into Chat GPT. It's been many times my team has done that, but they already know to read it first, but they'll be like, oh, look, this isn't right. Chat said this, but this is it's completely different. So you want to read it for yourself as if you're reading a book. And see, this is why people just, I think, and then I know other people in government contracting and just like in getting contracts with the city or state, they don't like to read. They hate that part. Oh, if they didn't have to read, they could just like do a 1, 2, 3 click. They'll be smooth with it, but you have to read. That is the hardest part about this industry for real. You have to read through these contracts, line for line and bar for bar. No, you can't just skim through it because you don't want to get a contract and you don't know what the hell you're doing. You want to be able to, if that company was right in your face, be able to say back to that company what it is that they are asking of you to do. Okay, so you want to read through that contract and then you want to put into ChatGPT, but you want to look for the document that has the scope of work. Okay, the scope of work is going to tell you the scope of work, the scope of what we're looking for, what services we're looking for, what your call center needs to provide. Sometimes it may not say either or. It may not say that you can hire people remotely. It may not say that you can hire people internationally. It may not say that you can do all of this like from your house. So that's why you need to email the point of contact, which is typically POC, and you want to email them and just say, hey, came across your proposal for ABC, the whatever the contract name is. I was wondering, and then put it into chat, ask chat to make it all fancy for you or whatnot. But I was wondering if your company is allowing for call center providers to hire internationally or outsource overseas, or even if this can be done remotely, or does this have to be done in the United States or whatnot? Because yes, some contracts do not care. We'll talk about that in a minute. Some contracts don't care if you're working with people overseas, if you're working with people in the States. The people that typically care about that is government, okay? The government contracts. They want you to hire U.S. citizens. You can't hire people overseas. You can't outsource work overseas. These cities and states, they don't be caring as long as your company can get the your call center can get the job done. They don't care. All right. So anywho, you want to read through the scope of work. Make sure that you can provide everything that the contract is asking for. Yes, some contracts may be 20 pages, some may be 10, some may be 50. Okay, you need to go through every single page, and you need to make sure that you're not overlooking everything. And once you do that, you want to put into ChatGPT and say, hey, chat, break this contract down in the simplest of terms for me. I want to bid on this contract. What is it asking for? What do I need to, and just let chat, populate and give you all the key points of the contract, and ask yourself, can you provide these services? Okay. So once you find a solid contract and it's time for you to do your proposal, typically proposals consist of a technical proposal, a pricing proposal, and sometimes they may ask for you to do a questionnaire, okay? But the technical and pricing proposal or cost proposal, that is what these contracts are asking for, okay? So your technical proposal, it typically looks like a cover letter, okay? So you guys need to do off rip when you, again, take notes. You guys want to have a cover letter done. Ask ChatGPT, make you a cover letter, okay? Go ahead and start thinking of your call center name. What is your call center name? Why, like whatever comes to mind. I don't know. Maybe you have a consulting business. Maybe you have a business where you do credit, you do real estate, you do all kinds of things, and you can add call centers under that umbrella. I don't care, whatever. Go ahead and start thinking of your call center name. You want to have your call center name at the top, your cover letter, and your cover letter needs to say, again, your business phone number, your business email, your website, as well as an introduction of what your call center is, what you provide, and all of those little things, okay? A cover letter, it's just like a resume, okay? Thank you, God, for that. It's just like a resume. To put it in, to compare it to something, it's like a resume. That's your cover letter. And then your technical proposal. So your technical proposal, every contract is different. Every technical proposal is not going to be the same. Every technical proposal is going to be different. Some technical proposals, they tell you, we just want one page. Put everything that we're asking on one page. We don't want to read through all the pages, okay? Some technical proposals, they don't have no limits. Your technical proposal may be like 15 pages. That's typically what mine is, okay? And in that technical proposal, in the side the contract, it's going to have like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and it typically stops at J. But every single alphabet is telling you what is it that they want you to have in your technical proposal. So they'll say, describe to us how you will be able to integrate AI into our system. So you need to describe to them, how can you integrate AI into their system? Or they may ask you, in this line right here, provide 3 references, okay? And oh, this is good, okay? Provide 3 references of people that you have worked with in the past, provided call center services to. For those of you guys that have never provided call center services to anybody, what are you going to do? You're going to use your friends or family members, okay? Somebody that you can trust. This is only for the beginning. Again, no excuses. No excuses, okay? You want to use a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, a auntie, or uncle. They don't call, okay? But they do email, all right? Because I've had, like, many people email, when I first started, email, like my aunt, email my mom, and I was so excited because then they tell you, they be like, girl, I just got an email from the contract. They thinking about working with you, because the company will tell them, we are considering, you know, Hobson Connect Court for this contract. Can you please tell us how did they do with your call center? And then like my mom emailed, like, and my aunt emailed, and then my best friend, they emailed, and they like was bragging. And that's another contract that I got. It's a college contract out in Virginia, okay? But anywho, all right, you want to use your family or friends, okay? No excuses as into why, oh, you don't have no experience, oh, it does not matter. But use somebody that you know is going to email back, somebody you know is professional as well, like that auntie that work at the that work for at the law firm, that got a little bit of sense when it comes to like emailing and documenting. Not somebody that, you know, they don't have a clue on how to conduct any kind of business, and you like, oh, well, I'm cool with them, I trust them. It ain't about that. You want somebody that can really go on your behalf and really vouch for you, even though you ain't never provided no call center services for them, okay? So that's what you want to do for resources. So every single line in that contract, it's going to tell you what we want in your technical proposal, okay? So cool, please do use ChatGPT to help you with that, all right? So for example, after you do your technical proposal, now you need to do your price proposal. This is what people don't know how to do, okay? They don't know how to do the price proposal. And again, I don't even have a blueprint or template to give you guys, because every single contract is different. I can't say, hey, follow this, and this, if, you know, it's not like a plug and play. Every contract is different. So anywho, but your pricing proposal, typically they provide a form for you that you have to fill out. And sometimes you may have to do your pricing on your own. That's a little bit scary. So yes, you do need a mentor when it comes to that. Okay, you do need somebody that can actually show you or help you or walk you through pricing, because pricing do matters when winning contracts, okay? Value and pricing are going to be the top scored evaluations when they evaluate your proposal, because they want to make sure, okay, we're getting the value, and the prices that they're charging, it matches the value. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it to be where the value is matching the pricing, and the pricing is, the value isn't matching the pricing, the pricing isn't matching the value. It got to make sense to them before they just hand you over a $700,000 contract, $700,000 contract, $1 million dollar contract. And one thing, let me just clarify: these contracts that you guys come across that are saying, oh, we're going to pay 26 million, we're going to pay 30 million, we're going to pay 5 million, we're going to pay 2 million. These are over the course of 4-year spans, okay? So how they pay us is net 30, okay? So we get paid on a net 30 basis, and sometimes you can negotiate and get paid on a bi-weekly basis, okay? But you get paid on a net 30 basis, and what happens is, let's say a contract is 5 million. So over the course of 4 years, divide 5 million by 4 years. So what is that? 12, 24, what is that? 48? What is 12 times 4? Somebody help me out. That's on here. 48, right? 12 times 4. No. Oh, yeah, I was right. 12 times 4. Hold on. Let me see this. Okay, but anywho, yeah, 48, okay. So you want to divide that 48 months into that 5 million, and that's what you're going to be paid on a monthly basis, okay? So, because they're not just going to give you $5 million to be like, you won the contract, because baby, you can run off to Mexico. You can run off to Africa and live lavishly. So they're not going to pay you up front. They're going to pay you on a net 30 basis, right? Okay, so anyway, your pricing proposal, they typically ask you, okay, so if we have 5 positions. We have the supervisor, we have the team manager, we have the customer support agents, we have the bilingual agents, and we have the team leader. Okay, you got 5 different positions. All right, and then they're going to say, how much would you pay this person? How much would you pay that 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 person? And then you have to know, as you're reading through the contract, they may say, okay, your agents are working 24/7, 365 days a year, including holidays. Agents are working typically 30 to 40 hours a week. Okay, so again, you want it to make sense to what you are paying them. They're making 20 to 30 hours a week. Of course, you'll have agents in rotation. You probably wouldn't need no more than about 4 to 5 agents for that position per week, because you'll be rotating them during the day, rotating them during the night, maybe one extra if somebody decides to call out or something. Like, these are things that you just have to work through. So yes, get a mentor. Get somebody that does this in real life, okay? But again, I'm giving y'all the sauce if you want to do this on your own, okay? But anywho, once you do your technical proposal, you do your price proposal. Sometimes they may say when you're submitting this proposal, you need to attach your documents. So the documents may be a questionnaire, and it's asking you, like, have you ever had any conflict of interest before? Has your company ever been under any kind of lawsuits before, or just anything like that? You know, you fill out the questionnaire. You can do that through PDF or do that through DocuSign. You know, fill it out however you fill it out. And then they may have like other little attachments. Some of them ask for insurance. Okay, it's another good thing. I'm gonna put this on YouTube. All right, so some of the companies ask for insurance: general liability insurance, workers' comp insurance, and it's what's the other one? I want to say it's not auto insurance. It's something like that. But anywho, this is how you get around insurance. Okay. You want to go over to your city or state website that you are bidding for a contract on. You want to fill out, it's a certain form. What's that form? Not your W-9. You need to do that as well. Go on irs.gov, fill out your W-9 form. You need to do that as well as an independent contractor, as an independent business. You don't want to be taxed as an LLC. You only want to be structured as an LLC, but you want to be taxed as an S-Corp. Okay? Write that in your notes. All right? But it's a form, not the W-9 form, but you do need to do that as well. But it's a form on, let's say you're bidding for a contract for the city of, let's say the city of Orlando, Florida, okay? So you want to go on the city of Orlando, Florida website, and you want to look for their independent contractor forms, okay? It's like, it should be in the same, because every website is different, but it should be in the same place as where the W-9 forms and stuff be. But it's a form that you fill out, and even if you just regularly like Google this, okay, like what I'm saying right now, but it's a form that you fill out that doesn't hold you liable for your agents, meaning that you attach that form to your contract, meaning that you are waived from any kind of insurance because your agents are independent contractors. Okay, you know, they're thinking that your agents are going to be, you know, actually like workers, or you know, they're going to be on a W-2 form, like something like that. But no, you want to go on that city site that you, or state site or government site that you are bidding on a contract for, and you want to fill out that form. I don't know the name of it, but it's on every single city state website, and you want to fill out that form that doesn't make you liable for your workers. Okay, now some contracts may say we still want you to have insurance. It is what it is. Next.com is where you can get general insurance, general liability insurance, worker comps, any kind of insurance on Next.com, okay? Next.com allows you to pay monthly for your insurance. I'm talking about like $20 a month for your insurance, $40 a month for workers' insurance, okay? Again, you're no longer on a middleman platform. You are the CEO of your call center. You are over all the infrastructure, over all the ins and outs of your call center. There's nobody else but you. Okay, so yes, you're gonna have to take on more responsibility. That's just what comes with going off of a middleman platform and scaling your call center business independently, internationally, like I did. Okay, that's just what comes with it. But anywho, Next.com will give you insurance monthly, because a lot of people, when they see insurance on a contract, they automatically not bidding because they're scared. Y'all already thinking, oh, this about to be like, I don't even know how much y'all be thinking it's gonna be. I really don't be knowing how much y'all think it's gonna be. But anywho, You want to use next.com for your insurance, okay? So you do your technical proposal, you do your cost pricing proposal, and you fill out the little attached documents or whatnot and whatever that you decide to do, okay? And you submit the proposal, okay? Typically, you submit the proposal on the city or state website, and sometimes you have to attach your documents on the email, and you gotta email it over to them. In some contracts, you have to mail it in, okay? You actually do have to mail it in, okay? It's trying to tell me to do the puzzle or it's gonna knock me off live, okay? But anywho, and now it's a rinse and repeat for every single contract, okay? Now, any questions?